you mentioned a second ago that the connection between the drug industry's beginnings and war. And I think you, in the beginning of your book, you talk about how the Civil War was the time when people were first looking for drugs to combat pain. And so I'm wondering, is there like a perfect storm of war and the need for these kinds of drugs that brings everybody into the field to want to manufacture them, both from a humanitarian and a profit motive? And then there's never quite been another moment like that? Or are wars a great kind of incubator for drugs?
Yeah, I mean, it turns out that war, at a time when there were no national medical licensing rules for doctors, so you didn't even have to pass a test to be a doctor, and doctors knew very little about what caused diseases, illnesses, and infections back in the 19th century. It really didn't matter whether there was a war or not, because I mean they patented, they put out these so-called patent drugs. They weren't patented, but they were literally like snake oil salesmen. They were combinations of everything at a moment when there were no requirements for prescription, safety regulations, labeling regulations. Everything in America in the 19th century was legal. So cannabis was legal, cocaine was legal, heroin was legal. It was made by Bayer, that's its trade name. Barbiturates, phenobarbital, all legal. Cocaine, companies competed based upon the purity of their cocaine. And you're right, the Civil War did get some of the early companies we know by name involved in the business because there was a shortage of morphine. They didn't know how to cure anything, but they knew how to deaden pain. And that shortage of high quality morphine brought in two German cousins in Brooklyn, the Pfizer's, Charles Pfizer and company gets going, Edward Robinson Squibb, who's a naval captain. You get Eli Lilly, who's also at that time through the Civil War, Park Davis, all of these early companies. But over time, until narcotics are outlawed in 1914, the pharmaceutical industry was sort of the Wild West. Everything went, and it was whatever you could sell, and they tried it. World War II, it resulted in penicillin because of a crash program. So it really wasn't about pain. And then after that, the drug industry learned how to sell drugs without wars. So they learned how to make things into multi-billion-dollar bestsellers. They didn't need the wars anymore just to make a drug happen.